Though the Toronto Raptors probably don't have a ton of interest in trading OG Anunoby, if the right trade comes in, Masai Ujiri is definitely not going to hesitate. And in today's video, we have a hypothetical trade from the Portland Trail Blazers that makes a ton of sense for the Raptors, and this is why. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? It's Jacob here, back with Amateur Sports for another Toronto Raptors YouTube video. On this channel, we give you the greatest coverage and analysis on the latest Toronto Raptors news, and we're going to be doing that all throughout the offseason. So if that is of interest to you, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Help us on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and also be sure to like the video if you find yourself enjoying it along the way. But our video today, we are discussing a hypothetical OG Anunoby trade because there have been reports about his dissatisfaction with his role in Toronto. Now, in our previous video, we really debunked all of those rumors to say that, OG never said that he was dissatisfied in Toronto. In fact, Scotty Barnes confirmed this. OG is fine in Toronto, though behind the scenes did allude to the fact that possibly OG Anunoby maybe feels like he deserves a little bit of a bigger role, but that is something that can be handled internally, something that doesn't need to go to the media, and something that hasn't gone to the media at least yet, nor do I expect it to. And overall, just to sum up exactly what I said in that video, is the fact that the trade is going to be very difficult to make for the Raptors, would the Raptors at least, because the Raptors probably have a higher valuation of OG Anunoby than any other team in the league. So all these other teams who want to bring in OG Anunoby, a very young, very dynamic 3-and-D type of player, any team who wants to bring him in are going to feel like they have to overpay in order to make it happen, deterring any real possibility of the trade happening. But what if a team were to, in my opinion, overtrade with this hypothetical trade that we are going to talk about? And for a Portland Trail Blazers team who have expressed interest maybe in bringing in OG Anunoby, that is what I believe from the article we spoke about last video. I believe Portland want to bring in OG Anunoby because Damian Lillard seems like he's not going anywhere. He seems pretty content to ride it out in Portland. Whether that's a good decision for the player or a good decision for the franchise, I think both. Not a very good decision. But regardless, Damian Lillard is there to stay. It seems like Anthony Simons is kind of growing into the starting two-guard with Damian Lillard, 2 point guards. I mean, it's worked for the Raptors before, so maybe it can work with the Portland Trail Blazers, though it does kind of remind us of the duo that didn't really work when you got to the nitty-gritty deep in the playoffs in Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, mainly because of a lack of defense that those two brought. But how about bringing in a very good defender? How about bringing in one of the best on-ball defenders and one of the better off-ball defenders in the entire NBA in OG Anunoby? This kind of seems like the Robert Covington situation, maybe a little bit, and I can see why Blazers fans think that. OG Anunoby is on another level to what Robert Covington was when he came to the team. So I think it would make a lot of sense for the Blazers to really get some good talent now to maximize the window that they have with Damian Lillard, because, Raptors fans know best. These superstar types of players don't come around very often, so you really have to make use of them while you have them. So making a trade, a splash for OG Anunoby could make sense for the Portland Trail Blazers, especially because they are interested in trading that 7th overall pick that they have to get the immediate help necessary for the team. It just seems like that is the way Portland are going to trend, and I would say it's more likely than not they move along from that 7th overall pick. So using that 7th overall pick to get this 3-and-D talent and dynamic scorer like OG Anunoby, what would the hypothetical trade look like? And just to preface, just to be completely transparent, guys, this is not a report. This is not any sort of rumor going around. This is just a completely hypothetical trade conjured up by Bleacher Report. I don't like Bleacher Report as an NBA news outlet, but as far as it goes for the Raptors in this scenario, I like the mock trade that they have presented here. So the trade would look like the Blazers get OG Anunoby. The Raptors would receive the 7th overall pick for this year's draft. They would also receive a 2022 second-round pick, so that is this year's draft as well. Portland have it from Memphis via the Utah Jazz, and it would be the 57th overall pick in the draft, which is actually second last in this year's draft because the Bucks and Miami had to defer their picks for this year. So 57th overall pick, plus you also get Nasir Little, and you also get Keon Johnson coming off of his rookie season. Nasir Little going into the last year of his rookie contract. And guys, I know we talk a lot about how untouchable OG Anunoby may be and how he's so important to the team. In my opinion, this is a trade that you probably forget all of that about, because look at the caliber of a return that you are getting. First of all, the 7th overall pick, the opportunity to bring in another potential future superstar. Like, the Raptors have been interested in bringing in Dyson Daniels. So imagine going and get Dyson Daniels in this draft. That second overall pick, kind of a sweetener in this one, doesn't really need to be included. I mean, it's nice to have it there, but overall, how many waves are you really probably going to be making with that 57th overall pick? I mean, I guess you never know within the draft, so it's nice to have it rather than not having it. And as far as the players go, Nasir Little is a player that I have been interested in, and to be honest, the style of his game really does fit within the way the Raptors play. He's about 6'6", 6'7", with a very nice 7'1", 7'2" wingspan. I mean, you could get this guy into a pretty good defender, a very good role player for this Raptors team who is struggling so desperately with their depth, especially as you go deeper into the roster. But somebody capable of scoring as well, putting up nearly 10 points per game, decently efficient. That's efficiency you can absolutely work with for a 22-year-old. Very young player. Obviously, you would have to pay him at the end of the season. He'll be an RFA, but you get OG's contract off the books, even though it is a very, very good contract for OG Anunoby. Maybe you're still saving a little bit of money, and maybe this trade just makes sense because you're also getting in Keon Johnson. Now, his rookie season probably wasn't the greatest, though there were quite a bit of points here. He did play 25 minutes a game. The efficiency maybe is something that is a bit of a problem, especially the field goal percentage in general. Not great at about mid-30s, but the three-point percentage, mid-30s as well. That's something you can work with, and he is a hyper-athletic two-guard who could be a great defender. I remember in the pre-draft analysis I did last summer, I was very excited with the potential that Keon Johnson had in the NBA. Now, unfortunately, he did slip to 21st in the draft. I would say that's probably more so down to the fact that as you got later in the draft, there were teams maybe looking for more immediate talent. Keon Johnson is a very raw player. He played the entire season as a 19-year-old. He's going to be 20 years old for the next season, so extremely young, extremely raw. Might have done him a little bit better to hone his game in one more year of college, but nonetheless, went to the NBA, drafted by the Clippers, and then the trade to Portland, I think, was very necessary for him because the Portland Trailblazers were tanking. It gave him a lot of play time. I mean, you can see he can hit the three ball. You can work on that efficiency. You can work on a lot of things to make him a better defender as well. Super athletic, good size for a shooting guard as well. I think this is a good prospect to have on your books as well. And in return, the Blazers, like I said, they get OG Anunoby. I think that is a piece that makes sense for them. I feel like that as a Raptors fan. I mean, I love OG. We all love OG. But you have to understand in this scenario here, this is a very good return from the Portland Trailblazers. It almost seems like this trade is too good to be true, and it probably seems like that because it is. If you're ever looking at a report, you're ever looking at anything in general, and it just seems like it's too good to be true, it probably is. I really like this return. Think about it from a Raptors standpoint. You're trading away OG Anunoby, and you're hypothetically getting, let's say, Dyson Daniels in the draft, a sweetener with that second round pick, and also Nasir Little, somebody who is immediately in the rotation for the Raptors. You're also getting Keon Johnson, a player for the future at 20 years old. I would say you're getting a potential superstar with that 7th overall pick. You're getting a very, very good role player who can develop into a starting caliber player at some point in his NBA career, Nasir Little. And you're also getting, maybe a bit of a loose cannon in terms of what the output might be in general. So you don't quite know what you're getting Keon Johnson, but somebody with absolutely the capability of getting to a starting role at some point in his career. He was expected to go in the draft lottery last year. And I think, honestly, if he spent another year in college, he would be a lottery prospect for this season. So an exciting player there. You're getting 3 potential starters for your team for the future. I would say a definite 1 that you're going to get out of the starter with that 7th overall pick, plus that second round pick. That is probably a little bit too much for OG Anunoby. I know the Trailblazers are on a different timeline in terms of the rebuilding process, but that just seems like a little bit too much. So what can the Raptors do to restructure this trade? I mean, maybe we can give the 33rd overall pick in this one, maybe take away the second round pick that they're offering, maybe change one of the prospects. I mean, I would have to get Nasir Little in order for me to really, really like this trade because that's somebody who does help out our depth, and I think that would be a good player to bring in. If they do want to keep Keon Johnson, I mean, I'd like to get him in the trade. Maybe they aren't quite enamored with the rookie season that he possessed, but nonetheless, I think the base of this trade, being around the 7th pick, being around Nasir Little for OG, makes sense for both teams. Maybe the Portland Trailblazers, I mean, again, I feel like they might be a little bit overpaying, but like I said in the intro and earlier on in the video, you have to overpay if you want to pry OG away from the Raptors. Super young player, super good contract, brings a lot to the table, brings what like teams who want to be contenders, brings some abilities that those type of teams are going to need if they want to get to the next level. So as far as an OG Anunoby trade goes, I'm still very doubtful that any happens in the offseason, but I'm just kind of letting you guys know as Raptors fans, like if the right trade comes in like this one, the Raptors are going to pull the trigger and make it happen. If it improves their team, Masai Ujiri recognizes it improves their team, they are going to do it. This is a guy who traded away DeMar DeRozan, who was like a borderline superstar who wanted to be in Toronto. Like, if the trade is right, Masai Ujiri is going to do it. And if the Portland Trailblazers offer this, I would not hesitate, and I would love to see this trade happen. So again, I love OG. That hasn't changed just because I made this video. I still love OG. I still love him on this team. So, don't make any sort of claims against me like that. But that is the end of today's video. What did you think of this trade? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Who says no to it? I would say probably Portland, but maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe both teams say no. I don't know. Maybe both teams say yes. But thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like on the video if you did enjoy. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. And make sure if you are new, or maybe you're not new and you've been watching the videos a while, but you're still not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all the videos. Hit the bell as well to make sure you're one of the first people to see the new videos and know exactly when I'm posting, because we do 3 to 4 videos a week all throughout the off season. See you again next time for another video.